Inside this video, I want to talk about 3 simple steps you can use to shrink and incinerate stubborn fat cells. And then I also want to talk about how you shrink a fat cell instead of burning it, because you don't actually burn off fat cells. You shrink them. They stay right where they're at in your trouble spots. What ends up happening is it's a very complex metabolic and hormonal pathway that I'll simplify for you in this video, and then I'll reveal 3 simple steps that you can use to shrink stubborn fat cells in as little as 12 minutes a day. And this is specifically designed for people over 35 years old. So if you're in your 40s, your 50s, and your 60s, pay close attention, because this is going to help you lose more stubborn belly fat. And it can be done in as little as 12 minutes a day when you wake up or before going to bed. Now, if you're watching this, you're not familiar with me, and you don't know who I am, I'm a stubborn fat expert. I've been in the health and fitness industry over 20 years. I started my career way back in 1998 when I placed first runner-up in the world's largest body transformation contest called Body for Life. And then my wife and I have actually helped over 100,000 people across the globe just in the last 5 years. So I don't share the credentials to impress you, just to impress upon you. You can trust the advice that I'm giving you inside this video. So quickly, before we reveal these 3 simple steps that you can use to shrink fat cells, let's quickly talk about how a fat cell is actually shrunk. Most people think fat cells are burned off, and they're not really burned off. What ends up happening is through a very complex, like I said, metabolic and hormonal pathway, they release triglycerol into the bloodstream. This is converted into 1 glycerol molecule and 3 free fatty acids, where it's delivered to working muscles to be burned off. So that's the simple way of putting a very complex process, and this is how you shrink fat cells. So now let's talk about 3 simple steps you can use to achieve this, to force your fat cells to release this triglycerol so that you can have a leaner, flatter belly. The first step is to put your body in a fat-burning calorie deficit. I know this is kind of obvious. It's called dieting, but most people do it all wrong. The best way is to go low carb for about 4 to 6 days of the week and eat Paleolithic. So try to avoid processed foods. Basic common knowledge. But remember, just after 1 week of low carb dieting, you suppress leptin levels, your thyroid efficiency is decreased, your metabolism slows down, and you can start negatively impacting your estrogen to testosterone ratio. So by adding carbs in to your diet 2 or 3 days of the week, you can reverse this process and spike all those fat-burning hormones to keep your metabolism elevated, keep leptin levels elevated, and keep your thyroid efficient so that it converts T4 to T3 in the liver the way that it should. So that's step number 1, is to simply keep your body in a fat-burning calorie deficit 4 to 6 days of the week and eat carbs 2 to 3 days of the week to keep your metabolism healthy. Step number 2 is you must force your body to release the fat-burning hormones that are responsible for releasing the triglycerol from your fat cell into the bloodstream. Now, this can be done using 20 to 30-second movement patterns at specific intensity levels that I'll share with you in just a second. The third and final step to shrink a stubborn fat cell is to create strategic blood flow. Remember, when you have stubborn body fat, that body fat lacks blood flow. In fact, if you touch a stubborn body part on your body, you might notice it's even a little cooler in temperature than other body parts because it lacks blood flow. So you need to increase blood flow. So the way that you release these fat-burning hormones and the way that you create blood flow is done in as little as 12 minutes when you wake up or before going to bed. Somewhere around this video, you'll see a link that you can click or tap where you can learn all about this 12-minute trick to shrink stubborn fat cells. When this is performed properly, it can potentially burn more fat and calories than an hour of traditional cardio. You'll also learn the real-life story about my wife's cancer journey and how she was forced into early menopause and how this 12-minute trick actually was the catalyst to helping her lose her menopause belly. You'll see picture proof that I've used this 12-minute metabolic trick to help me maintain 6-pack abs for over 10 years now. And then you'll also learn about our partnership with Living Water, where we're saving lives through a partnership that we have that contributes to a nonprofit charity. So if you like this and you got something out of it, make sure you hit the like button, make sure you share it. Thanks for taking time out of your busy day to check this out, and keep going strong.